Hey guys, I really didn't want to make this video, but I feel like it's something that we need to address and talk about. So recently I put out a video on the latest patch notes for Helldivers 2, and in that video I went over, all the changes to all the different guns and equipment and things like that. And since that's happened, the community has kind of caught on fire and people are just going crazy right now. So let's actually talk about the situation and explain how we got here. Okay, so as I mentioned, we have a new patch for the game, and basically in this patch, the developers have nerfed all the most, quote-unquote OP or meta weapons and equipment that everyone's been using, right? And since they did that, we've had a couple of days now, and it seems like a lot of players are really pissed off about this. And, of course they're not going out there and, putting out, constructive criticism. They're going out there and just being complete assholes. And, obviously this is something that's not new to the game industry. And obviously we know certain times a developer for a certain game can do something to piss off all the fans. And usually it can be warranted, right? They do something that's really kind of crazy or really extreme that just kind of wrecks the community or whatever. But I feel like when I looked at this one and I kind of read the news about all this drama that's going on, I was kind of shocked because in my opinion, this is not something to get really upset about. So why did this happen? Why did the developers feel the need to put out a patch and nerf all of the meta items or, all the gear and weapons that most people were kind of, gravitating towards? Well, it's because, quite honestly, they probably want people to play and use other gear. And for people that are paying attention, this is not new, right? We had the developers come out in a recent interview saying that the reason why there's no PvP in the game is because they don't like the, sweatiness and really hyper competitiveness that kind of a game brings to the community, which is not something that I agree with. I personally don't feel like PvP inherently makes the community more toxic. Anytime you have a game that's got a multiplayer component and you're grouping up with people you don't know, there's always going to be that element or the potential for toxicity to emerge. But anyways, to get back to the timeline, so the developers put out this patch, right? And then we've had a couple of days since then for players to, try it out and see how things are going. And since then, there has been a lot of kind of just craziness that's been going on over social media. If you go to the Helldivers 2 subreddit, it's there's just a ton of infighting right now. There's a lot of people bitching and complaining about the recent changes and nerfs. And then you've got another group of people that are basically calling those people out, calling them stupid and saying that they need to stop complaining about things. It's just a massive clusterfuck right now, and it's kind of embarrassing to see this kind of thing unfold, especially with a game that is this brand new and, again, does not have a competitive PvP element. And to make matters worse, there is actually one of the developers for the game got into a bit of a spitting match with someone online. And obviously it's not a good look, but at the same time it's these developers are human beings. And when you're having this much toxicity and hate just thrown at you, it's not hard to, let it rip and just, throw it back at people, right? I'm not going to show the conversation screenshots of what happened. I just don't feel like it's a good idea. And it's just kind of crazy because there's people that are literally demanding that they fire the guy over this, it's ridiculous. So if any of you guys are part of that demographic that is just getting really upset and just, throwing a bunch of hate at these guys, you need to relax, okay? There are a ton of different ways to put out constructive criticism and give it to people instead of just calling them a bitch or something, right? If you have a complaint about something and you don't like what they've done and you're trying to get that person to hear your idea and actually listen to you, odds are if you start going at them and saying a bunch of mean things, they're probably not going to listen to you, okay? And this is advice not just for this game or video games. This is really good advice for literally the rest of your life. So anyways, after all of this backlash, the developers have put out a statement about what's going on, so let's take a look and see what they said. So this is from Spitz over on Discord, and he says, "Hello divers, I wanted to take a moment this afternoon and let all of you know that we've heard your concerns over the last few days regarding enemy spawns, enemy armor, and the ability to kill these enemies. As we've said before, our teams are always taking in player feedback and looking at how we can tweak the game to ensure that it's fair, enjoyable, and provides the best experience for everyone. I can confirm that we're currently looking at changes to the spawn rates and health pools of heavy enemies, and we're going to be attempting to spread them out to prevent larger spikes of tougher mobs appearing at the same time, as well as making them a bit easier to bring down. This change should go out in a future hotfix, no date as of yet. Thanks, as always, for your patience. So that was a really good statement in my opinion. The whole reason why people are getting up in arms about the nerfs recently to the game is because obviously the railgun was like the tried and true method of just destroying those bile titans and, you know, heavily armored characters or bugs or whatever. And with the nerf, it basically made the railgun kind of useless, and it was just a lot harder to take out those bile titans. I know there's some people that were like posting screenshots of like, hey, what am I supposed to do in this situation now that the railgun's nerfed, right? So it's good to see that they're, you know, looking to actually address the root problem of why people were, I guess, using the railgun as like a meta thing. It's because there's just so many heavily armored monsters that spawn in those higher difficulties. And, you know, now that I've had some time to think about it and like kind of reflect and try to understand like what is the problem here, I've definitely kind of come to the conclusion that, yeah, I think the problem with this game right now is that the higher difficulties you go, it's just, all they do is they just add more bile titans and chargers, right? And I feel like they could do, or I guess there's more room for them to add different challenges and difficulties to the game, right? You know, instead of having them spawn like 5 bile titans, why not spawn like hundreds of like those what do they call them, like the butthole bugs that like shoot those tongues at you and send you flying? Like, that would be crazy, right? My point is there's a bunch of different creatures that we could fight that I feel like if they were to increase the, I guess, number of those ones instead of adding more bile titans, I think we would find the player experience and just, I guess, overall game experience a little bit more challenging and less frustrating. But anyways, that is all I've got for you guys today. I may make an update video on this if there's more craziness that happens, but hopefully this is the last one I have to make on the matter. If you guys enjoyed this video, let me know by leaving a like, and consider subscribing to the channel because I know literally 99% of you guys are not subscribed, so maybe take the plunge today and consider subscribing today. That'd be really cool. But what are your guys' thoughts? What do you think about this, I guess, drama that's going on between the developers and the fan base right now? Do you guys think it's warranted, or do you think people are just kind of being a little crazy? Either way, let me know in the comment section, because I love hearing from you guys. Thanks again for watching. I'm still Solo, and I will see you guys in the next one.